let's talk a little bit about the Harry Shearer Simpsons thing.
Okay.
Only because, again, it's
have
like...
Have you healed? How do you...
Have I healed? Yeah. I mean, I'm even though I'm not one of those people like, oh, Simpsons awful now, cancel. It's like I don't watch it regularly anymore. I don't think it's as good as it used to be. It is at this point. It's just part of our life. It's just The Simpsons continues. You know.
It does. It's funny because I was on a set visit a couple of weeks ago, and there was like a big debate about whether today did The Simpsons or South Park hold up better, and it was a very polarized discussion amongst a bunch of TV critics. But yeah, I mean, either way, they're both just kind of like there.
Yeah.
You know, now South Park doesn't exist, or if Trey or Matt leave.
Right.
Period. But The Simpsons can go on. It'll just be different.
Yeah, and knowing that, I mean, Shearer, obviously a huge part of the voices so many of the, beloved characters. So it's definitely a blow, him leaving. Right now, again, and this is one of those things that could also change very quickly or not. We don't know what exactly is going on because he announced he's leaving via Twitter, just like David Lynch did with Twin Peaks before he came back. But his statement was kind of weird about how they're not letting me do all the opportunities I'd want to do. And then Al Jean gave a very candid interview to Hollywood Reporter saying, I don't know what he's talking about. Like, we've never stopped him or any of the cast from doing other roles.
Yeah.
He lives in, I think, England or somewhere overseas, and he records via phone. And then he got pretty specific, and I think it was kind of because he's pissed, and I understand. He's like, he makes $7 million a year, so he has we were trying to get him to re-sign for $14 million for a 2-year contract to do a little work via phone each week, and was free to do other things. So I don't know what he's like, literally, because they're like, well, do you think you can work it out to give him what he wants? He's like, I don't know what he wants,
So what do you think it's all about? Let's speculate.
It's hard to say because even in our comments, it was interesting to see the people debate because people were like, hey, maybe there were people who were going to the extreme. Maybe he realized the show sucks now and he wants to go. And there are people saying, hey, maybe he's just burnt out and like I've done these characters enough.
Yeah.
All of which is valid, but is weird for him not to just go to them and say that. You know?
Yeah, and that's what you think that his announcement would be like. Look, I have absolutely loved this experience. I'm so grateful for it. It's changed my life. I love The Simpsons. I've just done this so long now. I'm an actor. I just feel like I have to move on to other things.
Yeah.
Which you would understand. That is a long, long, long time to be playing the same character.
Completely, yeah. Even if it's not that much work, it's still like at a certain point, oh, I'm doing Mr. Burns grumpy again. You know, it's like...
Probably, I'm sure
how much...
you do get burnt out on it.
Yeah.
You know?
But it is strange because, again, because Gene it was one of the more interesting interviews because he was just not holding back. He's like, look, and the one thing is everyone gets paid the same amount. And the one thing we're not going to do is give him more money. But we don't even know if that's what he wants. But if he was like, well, actually what I want is $15 million a year or whatever, and everyone else gets 14, it's like, that's not happening.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why would he need that? I mean, he's very rich already, and this is an amazing deal. So it is like, why would he?
Can you imagine? I just want us all to pause and have a nice moment for ourselves where we imagine that we get paid $7 million a year to get on the phone a couple times a week.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Feels good.
I would accept that offer. I would definitely accept that offer.
Like, I think it's been a long time since you had another job, buddy, because it doesn't quite work that way.
Yeah. So it's very odd, and Shearer hasn't done, and eventually someone will get an interview with him, you know, because all he did was those tweets, and then he does like a thank you for your support tweet, but he hasn't really sat down with anyone to say, here's the deal.
And maybe there really is a reason that if we don't have to understand it, he can do what he wants. He can quit his job. He has free will. But I feel like even if he did just say, look, I was just burnt out.
Right.
You know, like I just can't do it anymore. I would understand that. You know?
I think people would definitely understand that.
And you don't have to because you got paid $7 million a year to get
But on the other hand, what if you took the $7 million a year? It's a very strange situation. Like the more we kind of learned about it last week, and who knows, tomorrow they could say, oh, we worked it out. But for now, it's weird.
I really don't want to belabor this, but I do want to say that if even for 3 years I got paid that to get on the phone a couple of times a week, I would retire forever.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why work at all?
Yeah, it's like $21 million? All right.
There's, I
can be wise with my money, you know?
I can invest.
Harry, let's
diversify my currency. Come on, Harry.
Think it could work out.
Happen.
All right, so let's
do a little Mr. Burns.
Yeah, I'll do a bad Mr. Burns, but I'll do it for $7 million.